بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم الحمد لله رب العالمين وصلى الله على سيدنا ونبينا أبي القاسم المصطفى محمد
اللهم صل
وآله الطيبين الطاهرين اللهم أخرجني من ظلمات الوهم وأكرمني بنور الفهم اللهم افتح علينا أبواب رحمتك وانشر علينا خزائن علمك برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. Alhamdulillah, we have managed to study two books on Usul al-Fiqh. Mabadi Usul al-Fiqh, or the English book that we studied, Principles of Jurisprudence. Al-Mujaz fi Usul al-Fiqh. And then, of course, we had Qawaid al-Fiqhiyya and part of Usul al-Istinbat. But two complete book on Usul was Mabadi Usul al-Fiqh and Al-Mujaz. Now, inshallah, we want to start second halaqat by Ayatollah Sayyid Muhammad Baqir al-Sadr, whose also martyrdom anniversary was just a few days ago. Traditionally, in our seminaries, they used to study three different books, and sometimes even more than three. But for example, it was mostly Ma'alim and Rasail and then Kifaya. Some people, in addition to Ma'alim, also studied Qawanin. Recently, it has become Usul of the late Muzaffar. Now we have Al-Mujaz and then Usul al-Fiqh. Ayatollah Sad designed three books. One of them, of course, was printed 2 volumes, but basically 3 stages called halaqat. First level, second level, third level. And he had the idea that these 3 would be enough for the whole sutuh. So instead of Ma'alim and Rasail and Kifaya, or Muzaffar and Rasail and Kifaya, you can study these 3 volumes. Pardon?
There's an English version, translated version.
The first volume is translated actually twice by 2 people. The second, someone was going to translate. I am not aware. If you know, please let me know.
Just the first one.
Yes, the first, yes, I know 2 people have translated. Yes. The second one, many years ago, a person in the US was going to translate, but I don't think it has been published. What we want to do, inshallah, is we study Al-Halqah Thaniyah, the second, the middle one. And we will not finish this semester. But inshallah, this would be our book for Usul, for the more advanced level that inshallah we will have next year. So next year, inshallah, for Usul, we carry on with this. And for philosophy, we carry on with Bidayatul Hikmah. So already we know 2 of the books that are going to be followed, inshallah, for the next level.
It is meaning of halqa too, because what does halqa mean?
Halqa literally means circle or cycle. So he used each volume al-halqa, halaqat, and there are also available online, if you want. So they are available online, and also there are, for example, the edition that we have now, we are using, is called Durusun fi Ilm al-Usul, because these halaqat are called Durusun fi Ilm al-Usul. So the first and second are in 1 volume, the third is in another volume published by Jami'i Mudarrisin of Qom. Because there are many different editions. Some are in 4 volumes. Halqah Ula 1 volume, Halqah Thaniyah 1 volume, Halqah Thalitha 2 volumes. So some are in 4 volumes. This edition, all of them is in 2 volumes. So we start with the first part, which is definition of ilmul usul from second halqa. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. تعريف علم الأصول. يعرف علم الأصول عادة. Habitually, normally, the science of usul is defined in this way. العلم بالقواعد الممهدة لاستنباط الحكم الشرعي. Knowledge about the rules which are prepared for drawing out the religious ruling or inferring religious ruling. So these rules are mumahada, they are prepared, they are designed in order to help us in the process of ijtihad and istinbat. To explain this, توضيح ذلك, he says, إن الفقيه في استنباطه مثلا للحكم بوجوب رد التحية. The jurist, the mujtahid faqih, when he wants to do ijtihad, he wants to draw the Islamic ruling about necessity of replying greeting. Someone has greeted you, someone has said salam to you. It's compulsory to reply. So when he wants to come up with this fatwa that it is necessary, compulsory to reply salam and greeting from this ayah, وَإِذَا حُيِّيتُمْ بِتَحِيَّةٍ فَحَيُّوا بِأَحْسَنَ مِنْهَا أَوْ رُدُّوهَا. Surah Nisa, verse 86. When you are greeted with a greeting, either greet it in the same way or better. So, how does faqih understand necessity or wujub, obligation from this? Yasta'inu, he seeks assistance from ظهور صيغة الأمر في الوجوب. Inshallah, we will explain later, and we had already studied in previous books. صيغة الأمر ظاهرة في الوجوب, like مادة الأمر, both of them. So, ظهور صيغة الأمر في الوجوب.
Can you tell me again what Shikatul Amr, please?
Sighatul Am is the structure, the format which we use for issuing command. Maddatul Amr is the term Amara Ya'muru. So sometimes Allah says, Inna Allah Ya'muru bil Adl. Sometimes He says, I'dilu. I'dilu is Sighatul Amr, is the cast that you use to express command. But Ya'muru is Maddatul Amr. It's from Amara Ya'muru. So, Faqih Yasta'inu بظهور صيغة الأمر في الوجوب. He seeks assistance. So, Faqih needs to have these ideas already established. One is صيغة الأمر ظاهر في الوجوب. من معنای ظاهری for صيغة أمر is وجوب. Second, حجية الظهور. This is also important that zuhur is hujjah, because if you say sighatul amr zahiratun fil wujub, but zuhur is not valid, it's not enough. Yeah? It's like sughra and kubra. You say sighatul amr zahiratun fil wujub wa kullu ma'na zahiri hujjah, so sighatul amr can indicate wujub.
What is zuhur?
Zuhur means the apparent meaning. Al-ma'na al-zahiri. You remember we said either it is zahir or nas. When the meaning is known, either it is nas means 100%, or it's zahir means not 100%. There is other possibility, but the other possibility is normally ignored. This is zuhur. You are welcome. So, هاتان قاعدتان ممهدتان لاستنباط الحكم الشرعي بوجوب رد التحية. These are two rules which are prepared for understanding through ijtihad the religious ruling of necessity of greeting back. Radd al-tahiyya means greeting back, reply. Ayatollah Shahid Sad Rahmatullah Alayhi says, maybe someone makes an observation, a kind of objection. قد يلاحظ على التعريف means someone may have an objection and say what? He says, when you say العلم بالقواعد الممهدة, it may suggest that these rules are related to usul al-fiqh because of being designed and prepared for istinbat. But we know that these rules are anyway rules of usul al-fiqh. So he says, قد يلاحظ على التعريف means sometimes it might be objected on the definition that we had above, that to limit, to modify the rule with the adjective of mumahida. You said these are the rules which are prepared for istinbat. So the person who objects says this may mean that to be part of usuliyataha. So these rules acquire their usuliya, means they acquire their being part of usul from being prepared for istinbat and being compiled for istinbat. But we want to understand now what is usul. This is the definition of usul al-fiqh. So therefore he says maybe we can delete the adjective of mumahida, and instead of saying al-ilmu bil-qawaid al-mumahadata listinbat al-hukm al-shar'i, instead of that we say al-ilmu bil-qawaid allati taqa'u fi tariq al-istinbat. So in order to avoid this issue that someone says we want to understand what is the criteria for ulama al-usul to bring something, so we delete that. We say usul al-fiqh is a science that helps us understand rules which occur in the process of istinbat. But he says then another objection arises, which is actually more important. ولكن يبقى هناك اعتراض أهم. There remains a more important objection. What is the second objection, which is more important, is أنه لا يحقق الضابط المطلوب. The second objection is that this actually does not give us that criteria. ضابط means the criterion, is singular. That criterion that we were seeking, matlub, because we were looking for some criterion to say what is usuli, what is not usuli. You have to have a measure to say, based on this definition, this has to be discussed in usul al-fiqh. If you just say any rules that occur in the process of istinbat, We have many things that occur in the process of istinbat. Qawaid fiqhiyya also can occur in the process. Qawaid luqawiyya, sarf, nahv, balagha, all can occur in the process of istinbat.
What is Zabit?
Dhabit means criterion. لأن مسائل اللغة كظهور كلمة السعيد. Page 158. Page 158. كظهور كلمة السعيد تقع في طريق الاستنباط أيضا. The issues which relate to the language. For example, Quran says فَتَيَمَّمُوا سَعِيدًا طَيِّبًا. If you don't have access to water or for any reason, you do tayammum sa'idan. What is sa'id? Something which is from the earth, earthly material, surface of the earth. So, if you want to understand the ruling here, you need to know the meaning of sa'id. Is this usuli? It's not related to usul al-fiqh. This is lughah. You have to know the language and you have to go to dictionaries. So, although this occurs in the process of istinbat, but it is not usul al-fiqh. Therefore, Ayatollah Shaysad says, لهذا كان الأولى تعريف علم الأصول بأنه. So it's better to define علم الأصول الفقه in this way. العلم بالعناصر المشتركة في عملية الاستنباط. Knowledge about those elements which are common in the exercise of istinbat, in the operation of istinbat. Mushtaraka. Mushtaraka means something that in different parts of fiqh, they can help you. Lugha, sa'idan, is only for that particular mas'ala. It doesn't help you, for example, in the kitabul hajj or kitabul sawm. You understand? But rules like zuhur siqat al-am fil wujub or zuhur al-zahir hujjatun, these are things that are repeatedly used. So it's mushtaraka, it's common.
What is the I mean?
Anasir means element. So, yes, he mentioned العلم بالعناصر المشتركة في عملية الاستنباط. Knowledge about those elements which are common in the operation or exercise of istinbat or ijtihad. وَنَقْصِدُ بِالْإِشْتِرَاكِ. And we mean by being common صلاحية العنصر للدخول في استنباط حكم أي مورد من الموارد التي يتصدى الفقيه لاستنباط حكمها. They have this ability, this quality, that they can enter into istinbat of any hukm that the faqih wants to draw. It's not for one mas'ala or one particular aspect of fiqh. In any mas'ala that faqih wants to understand its ruling, they can come. مثل ظهور صيغة الأمر في الوجوب. إنه قابل لأن يستنبت منه وجوب الصلاة أو وجوب الصوم وهكذا. You can use it for understanding that salat is obligatory or fasting is obligatory, hajj is obligatory, any other thing. وَبِهَذَا. And with this qaid, with this modification, مشتركة تخرج أمثال مسألة ظهور كلمة السعيد You say, what is معنى الظاهر للسعيد فتيمموا سعيدا? This will go out of usul. تخرج عن علم الأصول. Because this is about لغة and it's only used in a particular case. It's not مشتركة in fiqh. لأنها عنصر خاص, because this is a specific element لا يصلح للدخول في استنباط حكم غير متعلق بمادة السعيد. This cannot be relevant to istinbat of something other than sa'id. This can only be used when the term sa'id is used. Is it clear? So, what is the definition of usul al-fiqh? Al-ilm بالعناصر المشتركة في عملية الاستنباط. Okay? Now, what is the subject matter of علم الأصول? موضوع علم الأصول وفائدته. What is the subject matter of علم الأصول and what is the benefit of علم الأصول? We only study today موضوع علم الأصول. يذكر لكل علم موضوع مادة. This is a habit normally for every science. They say there is a subject matter. And they mean by موضوع, we had this in previous books. موضوع كل علم ما يبحث في عن عوارضه الذاتية. You remember? So, to make it simple, we mean by موضوع, by subject matter, ما يكون جامعا بين موضوعات مسائله. What brings all the subjects of different masail together. Suppose this science has 1,000 propositions, 1,000 masail. The subjects of these 1,000 masail should be able to be brought under one title. That is the mawzu of that science. Okay? So, يراد به means what is meant by موضوع is ما يكون جامعا بين موضوعات مسائله. What brings together, what is common between the subjects of all its masail. Masail means propositions. وينسب البحث في المسائل على أحوال ذلك الموضوع وشؤونه. All the discussions in those masail, in those propositions, finally relate to what? To the conditions and modes of that subject. For example, in علم النحو, you study كلمة من حيث الإعراب والبناء. Any mas'ala you mention in علم النحو, it's about كلمة. Maybe sometimes it's about ism, sometimes it's about fi'l, sometimes about harf, but altogether it's about kalima. Okay? كالكلمة العربية بالنسبة إلى علم النحو. Arabic word for علم النحو in Arabic grammar, syntax. Okay, based on this, على هذا الأساس حاول علماء الأصول تحديد موضوع لعلم الأصول. Based on this, the scientists, the scholars of usul al-fiqh have tried to define what is the subject matter of usul al-fiqh. فذكر المتقدمون منهم, the earlier generations of ulama al-usul, they said al-adillatul arba. Of course, this early is not too early, even up to very recent. Because when in fiqh we say mutaqaddim means before Allama Hilli. But here it means even up to our century. So he means apart from some contemporary scholars. They have said al-adillatul arba'a. So they said موضوع علم الأصول is al-adillatul arba'a. الكتاب والسنة والإجماع والعقل. But some people have made objection. وَاعْتُرِضَ عَلَى ذَلك. This has been criticized. How? They said 4 references, al-adillatul arba'a, 4 references or 4 sources, ليست عنوانا جامعا بين موضوعات مسائله جميعا. This is not a common title that can bring all the masail of ilm al-usul together. Title. Because we have some issues in usul al-fiqh which are not related to kitab and sunnah as such. Okay? So, i'tiraz is this. They said, أن الأدلة الأربعة ليست عنوانا جامعا بين موضوعات مسائله, means مسائل علم الأصول. This is not a title that can bring together all the masail. Like what? مثائل الاستلزامات. For example, in usul al-fiqh, one discussion is about istilzamat. You remember we said we have al-mustaqillatul aqliya, mustaqillat, ghira. Many of them are about intellectual implications. For example, is al-amru bil-shay muqtadi lin-nahyi 'an al-dhidd? If you command something, does it mean that its opposite becomes prohibited? Okay? Or delalatul amr, ijtima'ul amr wa nahy. We had many intellectual, inshallah we'll discuss here also in this book later. We have many issues about how one ruling may imply or not imply another ruling. These are the things that are not directly related to kitab or sunnah or ajma or aql. So, مثائل الاستلزامات مثلا موضوعها الحكم. Their subject is حكم, ruling. For example, إن الحكم بالوجوب على شيء. When we make a verdict or we issue a hukm that something is wajib, does this imply that its opposite is prohibited or not? Or مسائل حجية الأمارات الظنية. We have many propositions about validity of amarat. You know, like khabar wahid. So their mawzu is not adilliya arba'a. For example, shuhra. If something is common, is famous among scholars, is it valid proof or not? Khabar wahid is valid or not? So we are not talking directly about kitab and sunnah and aql and ijma. Or masail al-usul al-amaliyah, when we have practical principles, istishab, takhyir, ihtiyat, bara'a. Their subject is doubt. When you doubt about hukm awwali, then you go to hukm amali. So, therefore, some scholars have said it's very difficult to say everything in ilm usul al-fiqh is related to kitab wa sunnah wal aql wal ijma directly. Therefore, some of usuliyun have said إن علم الأصول ليس له موضوع واحد. They said there is no one single subject matter. And indeed they said ليس من الضروري أن يكون للعلم موضوع واحد. There is no need that every science should have one subject that brings all the subjects of masail together. Okay? But Ayatollah Shahid Sad says, but we don't need to go to this direction and deny the need for subject. We can still believe in necessity of subject matter, but do it in this way. غير أن بالإمكان توجيه ما قيل أولا. We can rationalize, justify what has been said. من كون الأدلة هي الموضوع. We say, we keep what ulama have said, that adilla, the references, the sources are subject matter, but please don't restrict adilla to kitab and sunnah and aql and ijma. Those are the major adilla. But any dalil, like khabar wahid, that is also dalil. Not a dalil at the level of kutub and kitab and sunnah and aql and ijma. Not at that level. But this is also dalil. ما عدم الالتزام بحصرها في الأدلة الأربعة. So we say the subject is adilla, but we don't restrict it to أدلة أربعة. بأن نقول, we can say like this, by saying إن موضوع علم الأصول, the subject matter of علم الأصول, هو كل ما يترقب أن يكون دليلا. Anything that is expected to be دليل وعنصرا مشتركا في عملية استنباط الحكم الشرعي can be a common element in the operation or the exercise of استنباط الحكم الشرعي والاستدلال عليه, and to argue for حكم الشرعي والبحث في كل مسألة أصولية إنما يتناول شيئا مما يترقب أن يكون كذلك. Discussion in any usuli mas'ala is about something which is expected to occur in the process of ijtihad as a common element. وَيَتَّجِهُ إِلَى تَحْقِيقِ دَلِيلِيَّتِهِ. The discussion is about verifying whether it is dalil or it's not dalil. تحقيق الدليل. We want to study, we want to verify whether this is dalil for hukm shari or not. You argue isbatan wa nafyan, whether you say it is or it is not. You are discussing it as dalil. فالبحث في حجية الظهور أو حجية خبر الواحد أو حجية الشهرة بحث في دليليتها. We are discussing them in so far as their daliliyya, being dalil, is concerned. والبحث في أن الحكم بالوجوب على شيء هل يستلزم تحريم ضده. This is also بحث في دليلية الحكم بوجوب شيء على حرمة الضد. So this is also included. We don't have any problem with including this. ومسائل الأصول العملية يبحث فيها عن دليلية الشك. So this is also about دليلية of something. وعدم البيان على المعذرية. We discuss when then there is no bayan, this is معذر. قاعدة البراءة. قبح العقاب بلا بيان. عدم البيان دليل على أنه excused, he is معذور. فصح أن موضوع علم الأصول هو الأدلة المشتركة في الاستدلال الفقهي. So it has been proved that the subject matter of علم الأصول are common references, common dalil means references, or reasons, you can say common references in fiqhi argumentation, fiqhi reasoning, istidlal al-fiqhi, fiqhi jurisprudential reasoning. والبحث الأصولي, please remember always this, البحث الأصولي يدور دائما حول دليليتها. Any discussion in usul al-fiqh is always about daliliyya, because you can talk about Quran from But only that aspect of daliliyah is about usul al-fiqh. You can talk about ahadith from many aspects. Rijal, diraya, akhlaq, aqwal, but only daliliyah is related. Anything about whether this hadith or this ayah or this text can be used as a dalil for ijtihad, for istinbat of hukm shar'i is related to ilmul usul. Inshallah, we continue this in the next session. Alhamdulillah, Rabbil Alamin.